Guess this will be the ranting of an alcoholic. Yeah, I'm basically an alcoholic, to be honest. I have absolutely no faith in the treatment programs that are around, though. None whatsoever. Because, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot that I could get into. I feel like there's no real fucking help. There's just an illusion that's supposed to look like help that keeps people from ever finding real help, basically. I mean, it's a drug that is more destructive, basically, and more addictive than, according to the treatment places I've been to before, the people who are the specialists say that it's more as addictive or more addictive than coke and heroin. It's like, on the level with like crack and heroin and stuff in terms of the level of addiction. And but they don't sell crack and heroin. They don't have put big piles of crack and heroin next to the fucking bread and the cheese at the fucking grocery store. It's everywhere, man. It's fucking everywhere. You can't even get groceries. You can't go. I went into like a health food store that's supposed to be all natural, organic food, like a Whole Food sort of place, right? Even in there, they got beer and wine stacked to the ceiling. It's fucking everywhere, man. There's not a grocery store in existence that I know of that doesn't sell massive quantities of alcohol. I can't even go to the grocery store without it being in my face. I've quit before. So many times I quit for a week. Usually it's 4 or 5 days or something, or a week. Usually about the time I have to run to a grocery store again. Something will happen at the grocery store. Even if I go in there with absolutely no intention and no thought of buying alcohol, I'll go, oh, I need a loaf of bread or something, and I walk over to the bread and there's 50,000 gallons of wine sitting next to the bread right in my face. Or, oh, I gotta get some cheese, or I gotta get some sour cream or something. And I walk down that aisle and you got 100 yards of beer stacked from floor to ceiling, basically. All packaged in pretty packages like fucking candy or something. You want a pack of cigarettes, they hide that shit behind the counter. The massive campaign saying how evil and bad they are or whatever. Then when there's something 1,000 times more destructive, they can make it look all positive on every TV show, every movie. Package it, Hell, they could put goddamn unicorns on the fucking bottle or whatever. Cartoon characters. Advertise the shit to children, basically. It's everywhere, man. It's fucking everywhere. It's right in your face. You can't walk into a grocery store or a convenience store or fucking hardly anywhere and go to a restaurant without it being in your face. I'm surprised they don't have fucking booze for sale at McDonald's and Burger King. It's fucking everywhere, man. Probably only a matter of time before they add it to the menu. They'll have 500 cases of beer stacked to the ceiling next to the fucking ball pit and playpen or whatever the fuck, right? Oh yeah, right next to the slide for the kiddies. We'll put some fucking beer with a unicorn on it next to the fucking ball pit. Yeah, right? I mean, fuck, dude. You know, there used to be fucking dry counties. There used to be all kinds of stuff. Now it's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. Everywhere, dude. Even in like the strictest state, I think it's like Philadelphia or something is like the strictest state in the country when it comes to alcohol, but still, if you go to a grocery store even in Philadelphia, you're going to have a shitload of beer right in your face. There's nowhere There's literally nowhere where they even go so far as to make it so you have to go to a liquor store or something. It's it's everywhere, man. There's people starving in this world, starving to death, and they're using millions of acres to grow fucking hops and barley and inedible grapes for wine and sugar cane so they can make booze, using up the best farmland in the country to make fucking booze to poison people to death, basically. I've watched people fucking die from alcohol poisoning. Had a girlfriend. Her name was Mandy. I had to call an ambulance, have her taken away in an ambulance like 4 or 5 times. She wrecked her car one time trying to come to see me. You know, that was not a healthy relationship. Well, she died. Fucking alcohol poisoning. My sister's boyfriend, the one that was major jerk to me, he died last Halloween, or before Halloween, last October. Saw him in the hospital. He turned totally yellow. I mean, it's so strange, man. It's so strange to ever even have the desire to drink in the first place. It's so strange because, I mean, it's fucking horrible, man. Drink so goddamn much you end up sharting your fucking pants, having diarrhea go down your fucking pants. Pass the fuck out. God. I've had fucking delirium tremens. That's probably an explanation for some of the crazy weird shit that I've seen and experienced. I've listened to people tell stories about delirium tremens, and that sounds pretty similar to some experiences that I've had. Fucking nightmare, dude. I'll drink once, just get shit faced for one day or 1.5. Sometimes you drink so much that you're still drunk the next day. Throughout half or more of the day, you're still wasted. Up all fucking night. End up not sleeping for shit for like 2 or 3 days and running back and forth to the toilet having the shits. Puke, end up. I remember like the time before last I drank and Got so sick I couldn't drink anymore. Stuck my finger down my throat, made myself throw up to make me feel better. Clear out some room so I could pour more fucking beer down my throat. I was fucking puking blood, shitting blood. Sound fun? Sounds like tons of fun, don't it? But the only shit out there that pretends to help is these fucking cults, man. I get into fucking AA, an organization that's super wealthy and powerful, multinational, global fucking corporation with probably billions of dollars in funding and connections and super serious like fucking connections and power, millions and millions of members. Yet they've never done anything whatsoever to even begin to pretend to like try to bring back prohibition or try to do literally anything to make it simpler. They blame. No, when a person is a meth addict or a heroin junkie or something, it's poor them, poor victim them. But when a person is a drunk, addicted to a fucking drug that's known factually to be just as addictive and just as destructive, if not more destructive, they put that in every goddamn store and you can't even buy fucking bread or cheese or fuck, even you walk over to the goddamn vegetarian section of the fucking store, they got fruity goddamn beers and wine sitting over there even. It's like everywhere. It's at the end of damn near every aisle. Another stack of cases of beer or wine. It's fucking everywhere, man. Turn on a fucking TV show, everyone's smiling and dancing around with a beer. Or oh, look what a good time they're having. See how happy everybody is? It rots holes in your fucking intestines. They bleed to death internally and destroys your liver, kidneys, pancreas, gallbladder, colon, stomach. Fucks up your mind. But hey, let's put fucking unicorns on the package and cartoon characters and advertise it to children. Put it in every single grocery store in the entire fucking country. Because that's a good idea. The only so-called help out there is a fucking cult. You know, it also has the letters AA and the same symbol. Astrum Argentum. Founded by guess who? Aleister Crowley. The most evil man ever to exist. Major Satanist. Yeah, founder of Astrum Argentum. He wrote a book, or I think it was him that wrote, it was called, what was it, Diaries of a Drug Fiend or some shit. Yeah, that's actually what, from what I understand, was a real inspiration for the big blue book. Isn't that lovely? Gotta believe in a higher power. It doesn't matter what the higher power is. Yes, absolutely. The best way to get people to stop drinking is to lump them in together with a bunch of drug addicts and other alcoholics and have them all sit in a room and talk about. Yeah. Of course, you don't really get to talk hardly at all. You just hear, "Hi, I'm Bob and I'm alcoholic. I haven't had a drink in 60 years. One day at a time." Like, really, Bob? "Hi, I'm Bob and I'm a cult member. You gotta come to our cult, man." That's what this world seems like. It's just like a fucking. It's a massive conglomeration of a bunch of different cults. That's what it is, man. It's a cult. It's a world of cults where if you're not part of somebody's cult, then you've got no community, you've got no friends, you've got no life, you've got nothing. Join the cult. Join the cult. Join this cult. No, join this cult. No, join our cult. I don't know. I'm fucking pissed at the whole industry and the whole fucking way that. Honestly, this is how I feel about it. People who die from alcohol poisoning, they were murdered. They were murdered by their country, murdered by their own fucking neighbors. They were murdered by the lady at the grocery store sitting behind the counter that sold the poison to them. They were murdered by the people who fucking brewed it. Murdered by the people who grew the fields of grapes and the fields of fucking hops and yeast and barley. Murdered by the people who bottled it and packaged it. Murdered by the people who drove the truck that delivered it to the store. Murdered by mom and pop behind the fucking counter that sold it to you. Murdered by the people who made the commercials. Murdered by the fucking organizations like AA that do nothing to actually address the real fucking root issue. You know? Maybe if I could go to a grocery store and the grocery store had, I don't know, food and water in it instead of mountains of poison neatly packaged and fucking dangling in my face. Well, then maybe I could go into a grocery store and just get groceries and walk out. That would be it. Honestly, I'll tell you. I think it's a fact, dude. I know for a fact that, like, I would never have this problem at all if they suddenly made it so you had to go to a liquor store and that was the only place that sold beer. Of course, if that ever happened, you know what would happen. They'd have a liquor store in every goddamn corner. That's what would happen. Sadly. Yeah, sad but true. That's what would happen, man. They passed some law making it so it's illegal to sell alcohol in fucking grocery stores and shit. All that would happen is you'd go to the grocery store and there'd be a liquor store right next to the goddamn grocery store and another liquor store on every block down the street. That's what would fucking happen. You know, it's funny though, the way it's not funny haha, funny fucked up. The way that alcohol is, treated in the world, basically. The way that it's put everywhere and almost everybody is involved in brewing it, selling it, packaging it, delivering it, selling it to you. A world full of drug dealers. They're drug dealers who have the audacity to pretend like they're not drug dealers and pretend that they want to help you or something. Drink responsibly. Yeah. Use our heroin responsibly. Fuck, man. Freedom of choice, my ass. What would you do if you were God? Bruce Almighty for a day. What would you do? If you were creating the world, would you dump a bunch of demons and fallen angels down with your to live with your children? Would you create fermentation for alcohol? Would you create pot and coca plant and a bunch of chemical compounds and all this shit that to make all these goddamn drugs? Honestly, I think that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest problem that we have in the world. It's like the root of almost every problem we have is the fact that as a species, as a society, we're being drugged from everywhere. You got these massive pharmaceutical companies manufacturing tons and tons of drugs, and people get to pretend like they're respectable and clean and sober when they're high as a kite on some pharmaceutical pills. But everybody's high, basically. That's why the world is so fucked up. Nobody ever does anything about it because instead of fixing the problems in the world, we just numb ourselves so that we can try to cope with things the way they are while the world gets worse and worse and worse. We use things to numb our pain. Nothing ever gets better. I don't know, but I have to admit that in a lot of ways, some of the most interesting shit in the world probably was the best literature, art, music, philosophy. Mostly came from people that were drunk or high as a kite or both. All the best, some of the best musicians, the best poets, the best artists, best philosophers. When you listen to Alan Watts, that guy's one of the deepest dudes ever to walk the earth. Super intelligent, super. But he was a fucking drunk. Yeah. Oh, God dang it. I hate it, man. I hate alcohol with a fiery passion. I absolutely hate it. But I end up drinking it anyways. I don't want to join a cult. And that's the only thing that presents itself to be help other than, oh, there are real fucking treatment centers. I know they exist. They're out there. Believe me, I've done a whole lot of research into that shit. But the real ones are super expensive. Like, basically got to be a rich person to get into any of them. It seems like almost everything in this world, the majority of everything in society that poses as help is like it's Pavlovian conditioning is what it is. It's abuse. You know, it's the equivalent of, you know, kicking the dog when he barks and rubbing his nose in shit when he shits the carpet or something, you know. That's what they call help. Fucking bullying abuse, basically. Nobody cares to try to understand, have any goddamn compassion. Oh, man. You know, I have to wonder, why the fuck am I here, man? You know, I learned a term listening to some Gnostic chick talking about the world, and I think it's accurate. It's they call it, what is it, Helix. It was like Greek or something. They believe that there's three types of beings. There's non-corporeal, just spiritual beings that exist outside the realm of sight, and then there's the living people that are two types of people. There's the Helix and the psychics, basically. And the psychics are the spirits, you know, people who are spiritual, who have a soul inhabiting a human body, and then the rest are the Helix, which are purely material, physical beings that are all about material possession and all about basically base animal instinct. And that's like the majority of people. It's kind of like the whole NPC thing. Organic portals, basically, for these dark entities to come through. I don't know. It's a theory. I have another strange theory, though, that I don't know. Like, well, don't you find it odd that with all the brilliant scientists in the world and people that can speak so many different languages, people that understand, you know, ancient Greek and Babylonian and stuff like that, that there doesn't seem to be any research into communicating with animals, understanding the language of animals, or and that we assume that we're the most intelligent species on Earth because we have big brains or something. How do we know that? How do we even know that we're the dominant species? How do we know that? I mean, for all we know, uh, there could be like a microscopic parasite that controls the minds of people and rules the earth, or freaking animals or something. Could be that cats are the dominant species or squirrels or something. There's this episode of what was it? Rick and Morty, right? Episode of Rick and Morty where he's like, yeah, as Rick makes some fancy helmet for Morty so that he can communicate with it, so he can talk to animals or something. And he finds out that like squirrels run the world. Fucking squirrels, Morty. That's funny. No, but it fucking could be something like that. How the fuck would we know? I mean, look at how anti-human the fucking agendas of the leaders of the world are, man. I mean, look. Or you got fucking booze in every goddamn grocery store. Fucking GMO producing sort of a pesticide that modifies our own DNA when we fucking eat it, poisoning us. You got tons of chemicals and poisons in our food, our shampoo, our deodorant. They put waste products in our fucking water. It's just toxic crap everywhere, man. Spraying us like fucking bugs. We're getting microwave fucking radiation from all the goddamn cell towers and the 5G and the smart meters and the alternating current, actually, too. We've got current running through us. We got electricity being like piped through our fucking bodies at all times, basically. Unless you go way, way out in the forest somewhere where you can't even get cell service. It's the only way to get away from it. And I'll tell you, when I do get to places like that, man, I'm totally different. It feels like there's this massive weight that just falls off of me, and I feel free, and I feel more clear-headed and healthier, and I feel strong. I feel like myself, like I'm free. I feel more like I did when I was young, and then I get back in this world around all the signals and everything, and I tell you, man, I remember the last time we had a power outage when I was still living my mom's, when I still had a home. I had a power outage, and I remember, power went out just for like a few hours, and I felt better than I had felt in years. I felt like a teenager again or something. it's it's an amazing feeling to actually be away from the electrical, from all the 5G and the smart meter and the fucking alternating current and all this other shit. When you're away from that shit, and that's just with a decrease in the signals. Imagine what it would feel like to be completely away from the signals. Imagine what it would feel like to be somewhere where there's not even radio signals going through the air. Could you imagine? how different that you would feel if you could if you could get somewhere where there was no alternating current, no cell signals, no radio towers, no nothing, and you were just free. You didn't have this electrical current running through your fucking body. I kind of wish I could join the Amish or something, but it would be difficult. It would be really difficult, and I don't I don't see how I could do it. I mean, why would they even want to put up with me, you know? I don't have Amish family that I can just move in with or something. It could take me like months to even heal up to be healthy enough to even try to keep up with those people. Honestly, I feel like I'm dying. And I wish that wasn't the case, but I feel like the stuff in this world has just it's killing me. Alcohol is probably the worst of it for me, but it's everything, man. Being forced to be in this situation where I don't feel like there's hardly anywhere I can even go. I thought about just wandering off into the forest, just deep into the forest. But I wish I could bring my car. I wish there was somewhere that I could drive my car, deep out into the forest, and so I could bring stuff with me. I could bring tools and a tent and stuff, and I could build a cabin or something. I don't like being around a lot of people, but I don't like being completely alone all the time either. It'd be nice to have a hand with making the cabin, gardening, cooking. I wish I had a wife. And it's weird that I don't, man. I mean, when I was younger, dude, I had hundreds of girlfriends. Hundreds. And now, like, dudes that I grew up with, people that are... I mean, there's guys that are fucking goddamn crackheads and meth addicts and shit that are super abusive, like psycho assholes 100% of the time, basically. And they have wives and girlfriends. And me, I'm basically a nice guy most of the time, even when I'm drunk. I get super romantic and sweet, but I can't get a serious relationship with it for the life of me. I can't tell you how many times I've dated chicks that, like, they were married to some guy for like 10 or 15 years. Some guy that pissed himself and shit the bed and missing teeth and put their head through a fucking wall, screamed at him, beat him, just abused the hell out of him. They'd stay with some prick like that for 10 or 15 years. But I can't even keep a fucking relationship for a month or two, for longer than a couple of months. Hell, go shopping at the grocery store, you see dudes covered in fucking prison tats and shit. walking with some beautiful woman with like a black eye and shit. He's doting over the guy, babying him, treating him like a fucking king. I see that shit all the fucking time, man. God. It sucks being alone. And if I had a serious girlfriend or something, or a wife, I mean, my life would be completely different, man. I'll bet I could get into an apartment in the blink of an eye if it was me and if I had like a girlfriend or a wife or something that was working together with me. I kind of had a girlfriend back about a year ago when all this shit started going on, but she didn't want to live with me. If I could have moved in with her, I would have still had many, many more tens of thousands of dollars, and it would have been cut her fucking bills in half. Most part, probably would have treated her like a freaking queen. It's weird, man. The way my life is, the way I get treated by people, for the most part, man. I either get treated with like a complete lack of care, like I feel like I'm the kind of guy that if I passed out in a crowded store or something, like the only reason that anyone would step in to help in any kind of way would just be because, oh, this guy's on the floor, he's in my fucking way. I need to get him out of the fucking way, basically. No, seriously, man, I just no, I can't help but notice, man. There's people in this world, like tons of people in this world that are like, I don't mean to be so judgmental, but there's people that are 100 times more of a jackass than I am. And the fucking world just like rains gold down on them. They get everything just handed to them, basically. There's tons of dudes out there that are just complete, total fucking pieces of shit. Guys that, you know, are thieves, murderous heart, thieving, drug dealing, you know, just scum of the earth, man. But they get loving wives and girlfriends, and everybody wants to hang out with them and shit. They get government assistance and housing and shit just rains. Yeah, just not even just from my personal experience of having, in the past when I dated a lot of women. This is such a fucked up world, man. Such a fucked up world. I just get like fucked over and robbed blind. Like you wouldn't fucking believe, man. And oh. Seriously though, it's like, it's so weird, man.